What motivated me to attend today is really listening to the types of problems people are trying to solve. It's early, and understanding the problems that people have is helpful to understanding how we can be part of the solution and how we can think differently. None of us have all the ideas, and so if we hear from others what they're doing, then there's a chance it'll spark creativity. And so far, it's been a really good discussion. My impression of the event is really interesting. Actually, the power's out. And I think that's a really good thing. We were just talking about it. It's causing all of us to just engage, and there's less distraction. Actually, the slides aren't there to sort of force the structure of the discussion, so it's more interactive. I see a lot of people nodding their heads, a lot of people asking questions, a lot of people taking notes, which to me is a good thing. Part of this is to share ideas, and maybe people are daydreaming a little bit about what this means for their organization, and I think that's a good thing as well. So maybe being offline is actually helpful when thinking about how to take this online. We build digital products and platforms. What we do for clients is help them build software that is the revenue-facing part of their business. The engineers in our company, this is an everyday thing. We think about AI in three different ways, and we see it impacting all three. The first is what I call Jarvis. If you've ever seen Iron Man, everybody needs tools to make them more powerful, and Jarvis is really powerful. The tools that can help us do things every day are out there. It's changing our workflow on literally every task every day. The second is infusing AI, large language models, even some SLMs into product that our customers or clients are using to take to market. And that's changing how we have to work, because although some of it is predictive, it's still non-deterministic. The way they test software has to change based on the way they build software and the type of software they're building. So that's a big change. And then the third one is maybe a little bit of self-disruption. A lot of what we do is labor-driven. Can we take the labor out of our labor-driven business and help our clients accelerate value and find something different? And so we are using AI to disrupt ourselves to really challenge, is a person the right unit of work for engineering a product in the future? Or is there a way to use AI with a human in a loop to do it differently? And what we found is the answer is depends. In a lot of places, we can use AI. And so if you put all those together, I mean, all of this is new over the last 2 years. Things I'm doing every day now are different than the things I was doing every day 6 months ago. And so I think in some ways that feels massively different, and in some ways it doesn't, because once you get used to it and start using different ways, it creates new ways of thinking that make it feel similar even though it's different. What do I think is going to happen in the next 2 years? First, I hope we stop talking about AI. I don't think it's a useful frame. So I'm old. A long time ago, Microsoft launched what they called the .NET framework, and they put .NET on everything. There was Windows.NET and .NET programming language, and what they learned in that exercise is that it just confused the heck out of people. I think AI is in the same place. When you think about what my mom thinks of as AI on her iPhone is completely different than what Jason was talking about today is AI for their business and making new decisions about what deals to purchase from truckers. And so I hope we begin to build a vocabulary for how to talk about this differently, because we're actually more informed. Eskimos have 17 words for snow. Why? We don't need more than one word in Dallas for snow because it happens once every 5 years. But they live in an ecosystem where they need to understand different types of snow and its impact on their lives. We need to replace the word AI with a new vocabulary, and so I hope that happens over the next couple of years. It's not going away, which I think is a good thing. I think we will find that the work we do at home, at work, is different, that we have more assistance available. We will also have to become maybe more aware again of the choices we're making. I have a 13-year-old. I have two boys, but one's 13, and I like to tell him he goes on autopilot sometimes. He's not consciously thinking about the choices he's making and the impact on him and his friends and his family and others. And I think sometimes we're on autopilot at work. And with AI, that autopilot could cause us to crash into the sidewall if we are not really paying attention to the choices we're making. And so I think there's a chance in the next couple of years that a couple of people have some fender benders, that people crash into the sidewall a little bit because they're racing so fast to do or keep up with the Joneses or do whatever they may feel is the compulsion to do. And a lot of them are really good ideas. They're gonna have to remember how to fail. It's been a long time in IT and technology since we've had to really learn how to fail. We've gotten to a place with site reliability engineering and other technology that our SLAs, the expectations the business has of us are really, really high. And we have to remind people, this isn't engineering, it's science. And science experiments fail. And so we have to put some loop in there that allows us to embrace that as a learning opportunity instead of just trying to avoid it. But it does mean that we're gonna have a couple crashes, I think. Amazon has coined this phrase that a lot of people use now called undifferentiated heavy lifting. They talk a lot about that in their marketing, how cloud technology can replace undifferentiated heavy lifting, offload some of that burden to a vendor like Amazon or Microsoft or Google or whomever it may be. And if you think about stage of adoption, when they started talking about that was roughly 2011, 2012. And we are in roughly the same stage of adoption for AI today. I hope it finds another layer of undifferentiated heavy lifting that we can take off of our plates to go focus on more strategic contribution, things that matter. I would love it if it automated stuff that I just don't need to handle. I would love it if my teams felt like they could move faster on their ideas. We ran an experiment with a client to complete a process, I'll be careful, that would have taken over a year before in 5 days. And that wouldn't be, so instead of them waiting for an answer, they have one and now they can make decisions. And that creates real possibility that if we go back to maximizing value for shareholders and creating product people love, that we can do more of that. And so to me, that's really exciting. It's why product exists.